Make shorter fucking videos and people will watch your shit. You fucking dickhead. It's your fucking 2, 3, 4 hour fucking videos. Nobody has time for that. Fuck this shit. I'm unsubscribing. You dickhead. Fuck off. I don't like your shit. You're boring. Sorry. Okay, so, you know, I can't keep everybody happy, and I'm not trying to be honest with you. But last night, something amazing happened. A couple of amazing things happened when I chose to go on DLive and do my live stream. But I did so to hang out, to just have fun, to kind of do, like I did a 2-hour karaoke stream. People were enjoying that. They hung out the whole fucking time. Most of them. I scared some away. Then after that, I went and did another stream, which I can't fully mention on here on YouTube. But it was to watch things that, you know, I normally watch and just kind of react to them and hang out and chat, and then also to have people who come to hang out be able to submit videos to me as well. So I'm chugging along, you know, doing that, and you know, there's some DLive people that came in and you know, they've never heard of me or seen anything I do, and they were hanging out. And then I click on Shawn Baker, and next thing you know, I'm making a fucking video, because that's what you're getting here today. I just wanted to get on here and kind of say the reason I do other topics. First of all, I enjoy doing them. It keeps me making videos. I haven't burnt out on YouTube and DLive because I enjoy doing them. Otherwise, I'd be pretty fucking burnt out right now. I put out a lot of content this week. Even though I'm doing 5 videos, they're 5 like fucking long ass videos. I think there's 8 hours of fucking content that you guys are getting. I don't know, you know, you keep funding them, so I'm going to keep doing it, but, you know, there's only so much watch time in a day for a lot of people, and I understand that. Watch at double speed. Watch chunks of it. It's not a big deal if you want to watch it. If you don't like me, then don't watch my shit. It's kind of my point. But the exact scenario that I wanted to happen happened last night. I'm sitting there. I had a small group of people enjoying what I was doing. And lo and behold, one of them is this 22-year-old kid. You know, who he seemed a lot older when I was talking to him, but when I found out he was 22, I was like, holy shit. And because I clicked on the Shawn Baker video and was reacting to that, the conversation, of course, shifted in that direction. And next thing you know, I'm riffing about keto and the food industry and all the other shit that I bitch about that you guys seem to like, but you only want 10 or 15 minutes at a time, which is virtually impossible for me to do. Next thing you know, he's learning about keto for the first time. Well, he said he heard it was he thought it was a fad. I don't reach young audiences. That's one of the reasons I will never grow as a YouTuber, is no kids are looking for keto. You want me to make 15-minute fucking keto videos that the majority of people are not going to look for. Only people that already know about keto may be fortunate enough to stumble on my channel, and as I show in this video that you're about to watch, if you do an algorithm search, you're not going to find me. You're going to find like Dr. Oz and, you know, the mainstream anointed, who are safe and secure, and that space is filled. I can't grow as a keto only YouTuber in that space. And I can't, more importantly, I can't reach new people who could give two shits about searching for a keto video. Now, if I'm doing one of these other videos, the adventure videos, the minimalism has a larger audience than keto. So does van life and that kind of stuff. And I love doing those things. They're something I do as part of my journey. I absolutely am going to do those kinds of things. There's a large exploration community. There's travel video community. There's all these communities who don't give two shits about keto, and some of them have health problems. And as you know, I talk about these things. Even when I'm doing those videos, they get mentioned. And new people get exposed to keto. And even if that means I'll always be doomed to mediocrity in YouTube because I'm all over the place and I can't reach the ADD crowd or the young crowd, when this happened last night, I was just like, you know, and he swears he's going to go keto now. You know, I pointed him in the direction of a few things. So if you're new to keto, you should probably watch this stream because I do give a lot of good tips, a lot of good references, plus other people in the chat were helping as well. So I was really proud that a stream I sat down to relax and just do my thing is my point. And lo and behold, someone new may be coming to keto. Now, I don't know if he'll succeed. I'm telling you, most 22-year-olds are not looking for this shit. They're not looking to hear this. So, just the fact that because I had gone there, and I think he originally is kind of a conspiracy crowd, and, you know, I put my tinfoil hat on every now and then, and he probably came in for me railing about all of the censorship and all the other shit I've been bitching about. So while some of you may not like that content isn't necessarily intended just for you. I can't keep everybody happy, nor do I want to. I'm gonna do the content that is part of my journey that I'm passionate about, because if I'm not passionate about it, even if it pays well, you know, I wasn't passionate about trucking. That paid $60,000 a year, and I told them to fuck themselves and haven't gone back. I make a hell of a lot less money here, so honestly, the passion has to be there for me too. So who knows? Follow me on DLive too, or on ScottTheTruckDriver.com. You can now subscribe and keep track of all I do, and you'll be able to participate in this kind of shit. Or if you hang out here on YouTube, you'll get a replay, which will start now. Baker. You can tell I clicked this for a reason.
In the news lately, proclamation from the UN saying that we have to cut back on meat or give up meat to save the planet.
Is there a link? I wonder if there's a link. Let's see. No, of course not. That'd be a lot of work.
This is based on belief.
What did he say the story
proclamation
was?
From the UN saying that we have to.
All right, I want to see this for myself. This is how I do a little research, by the way. UN less meat. Eat less meat. UN nature.com. Okay, let's see what that says. Reacting to an article now. Look at that. I'm getting into Tim Pool territory and shit. Eat less meat. Unclimate change report calls for change to the human diet. I'm gonna get triggered. I'm gonna get triggered. Shh, calm. Oh, all right, let's go. Efforts to curb greenhouse gas emissions and impact of global warming will fall significantly short without drastic changes in global land use, agriculture, and human diets. Leading researchers warn in a high-level report commissioned by the United Nations. So less cows, but not less cars. Not less traffic. Not less pollution from other companies. No, it's the cows. These motherfuckers right here are why our climate is fucked up, apparently. I don't buy into that, but I guess I'll keep reading. You're already triggered, Dig? I'm triggered.
This is bullshit. And whenever you threaten my fucking ribeyes, we's gonna have words. On August 8th, the IPCC released a summary of the report, which is designed to inform upcoming climate negotiations amid the worsening global climate crisis. More than 100 experts, around half of whom hail from developing countries, worked to compile a report in recent months. This is some vegan propaganda shit that's just fucking taken over. You want to hear some Tim Hoyle hat shit? I got some for you. We don't want to tell people what to eat. What the fuck are you talking about? Of course you're telling people what to eat. Fucking bastard. An ecologist who co-chairs IPCC's working group on impacts, adaptation, and vulnerability. Okay, you want to make it a little bit better? Just make all of it organic. Let's not go with this fucking industrial agriculture shit. But it would indeed be beneficial for both climate and human health if people in many rich companies or countries consumed less meat, and if politics would create appropriate incentives to that effect. Well, what about fucking human health? Essentially, that means less people, less pollution, I guess. And, you know, I guess you can't make an omelet without breaking some fucking eggs, but... you know, and you need to be concerned about shit like this, because how much are you paying for ribeyes as it is? Or steak, or chicken, or any other fucking animal-based products that we have to eat? We're going plant-based, people. Mark it down in the calendar. It's coming. We are going to be plant-based. You're going to have to... cows are going to be on the black market. You're going to have to stealth hunt in the woods to get your meat. And hope they don't catch you. Alright. Well... Let's finish up with Shawn Baker here.
To cut back on meat or give up meat to save the planet.
I'm sure he's got some shit to say about it.
This is based on belief on the fact that, or the supposed fact
cow
that,
farts.
You know, livestock
That's what is beat up. I believe.
So let's review a few things over time. So back several years ago, there's a movie called Cowspiracy that came out. They famously quoted that
most horrible vegan propaganda fucking documentary of all time.
Was responsible for 51% of all worldwide greenhouse gases.
Don't eat meat. Think of the poor cows. Here, eat our radiation food from fallout. Yeah, or our fake food made from chemicals and vegetable oils, and probably motor oil at some point. I don't know. And our fucking glyphosate. Make sure you take a nice big spoonful of glyphosate, along with the GMO wheat in your bread. Thanks for coming and hanging out. Thanks for the ice cream, Mr. Humpty. Appreciate you. I got another hour in me of this, so we're just hanging out. So hang out. We're supposed to be laid back tonight. I still keep getting triggered, though.
That came from the World
I should have just sang for 4 hours.
Resource Institute, and the problem with
Jarospin, if we didn't eat meat, there would be 3,000-pound buzzards flying around. If we didn't eat meat, our health crisis would worsen significantly. Dr. Twist ordered some steaks once from Lobbles in New York, grass-fed Wagyu, the American version of Kobe beef. Well, those days are numbered, Dr. Twist. Enjoy your steaks now, because the climate people are coming to join with the vegans to take away our meat.
With that estimate was that they mistakenly included all the carbon dioxide that the cows actually breathe.
Yeah, I'll never give up meat either. I'll go to jail. I straight up will go to jail if they outlaw meat. It's going to happen. I'll be a fugitive for a little bit if I can, but that's the only way they're going to get me to stop. Just put me somewhere and then force me to not eat it.
Breathe out in their calculation, which, again...
And honestly, I don't know that the public's going to stand for this. You know, I don't know that they'll be able to push this through on everybody. I think it'll be quite the political battle, I think. Deer meat is better anyways, haha. I've had venison once. I'm a little turned off by venison because as a truck driver I've seen a whole lot of wrecked deer over the years, and it's kind of made it a little less appetizing for me. But I am aware that I need to learn to hunt. I need to learn to get my own meat in lights of shit like this, which is why I am studying survival. I am trying to learn to hunt and fish and survive out in the wilderness, and deer are a big part of that. So I find deer meat gamey. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the deer meat. I'm definitely a red meat cow guy. Give me a cow. If I can take a cow out in the woods with me and make more cows, that'll be how I survive this meat apocalypse.
Does not.
I feel like that's a hashtag waiting to be made. Meat apocalypse.
Account for the fact that there is a CO2 cycle, which we expire carbon dioxide. Plants take that up, convert it into oxygen. So they made that gray air. And
how about instead of getting rid of the cows, we just plant more trees and shit? Sounds like a good way to balance it all out.
Basically dismissed by the entire scientific community, and so even the filmmakers from Cowspiracy eventually had to agree to take back that information. And so later on, in I think 2006 or so, a study was commissioned by the FAO, the Food and Agriculture Organization, which proclaimed that animal agriculture was now responsible for not 51%, but 18% of the greenhouse gas emissions. Now that's a
pretty small percentage, if it's accurate.
Was done based on what's called a life cycle assessment, and so not just what the cows are belching out or methane from their manure, which is where the emissions come from, but it also included everything that goes into agriculture, from producing crops for the animals that do get crops. Remember, about 10% of the animals' diet comes from crops, on a grain finished animal. Grass finished animals have much lower footprint when it comes to that. In fact, they have basically almost none. It also takes into account the fossil fuel usage to transport animals.
When you're not feeding cows their natural diet, they're going to have a lot more methane production.
Transport the meat, the packaging, the production, everything that goes into producing that animal. And so it was pointed out that none of those assessments were done for any of these other industries or sectors like the...
That is true, Dr. Twist. Rather than having a sustainable farming system where you let the cows graze, they fertilize the land and move them over to another patch when they're done with that, and then you plant crops on that land, and you kind of do this cycle to it's like a cycle of life that takes place. When the cows die, you put some of the remains out there, and basically the soil retains its mineral content. That's not how we're doing it with industrial agriculture now. We're depleting all of the mineral content of the soil because we're using chemicals and shitty fertilizers to do it. Unbeknownst to the vegans, a lot of the fertilizers do contain some cow leftovers. And then you throw a pile of glyphosate on everything, which of course is going to bind to all the minerals in the soil and deplete it further. We're creating deserts with our modern agriculture. The land is not going to sustain crop growth permanently unless they keep making it more chemicals and more, unhealthy and shitty. We do need to get back to good old-fashioned organic farming. And the reason that's not going to happen is because it's not profitable. It's lower yield. It requires more labor from farmers. It requires, if you're trying to do it organically without the use of pesticides and stuff like that, it's not as profitable for the farmer. It costs more to harvest. It costs more to keep the farm going, and in turn consumers have to pay more for it. Not as much as they charge now, but they do have to pay a little more because it's less yield, there's more demand. And if it wouldn't be this way if we had a large scale organic system instead of a large scale industrial system that we do now. There's a lot of theories on population growth and the sustainability, but I think we still have enough land to do this. It's just, like I said, there's not good money in it. The government wants cheap food. They want cheap food and to provide enough calories for the population. That keeps us working, that keeps the healthcare system well funded, that keeps the food system profitable, that keeps all of the government lobbyists happy that are funneling money to campaigns and doing all this other shit. And it keeps the status quo, which is this big profit cycle that's based on siphoning our health and our wealth throughout our lives. And going to a plant-based diet would just double down on this. It'd be a high-carb, low-fat diet devoid of animal nutrition, which would lead to deficiencies. It would lead to mental health problems. It would lead to autoimmune illness. It would lead to all kinds of gut problems. And it would increase the profits for the pharmaceutical industry and medical industries long term. And the food companies, it would increase the amount of processed foods. You know, you'd be making fake meats, fake this, fake that. And the more fake it is, the more non-food is mixed in with the food, and it's more profitable, and it's just a big formula of shit that is going to make things worse on us and make things better for the food and pharmaceutical industries. That's what it is in a nutshell. So I'm not happy to hear that the UN is pushing this way, because that's global. But you can bet your ass here in the United States, food guidelines are going to become more plant-based. Our agriculture is going to push in that direction. They're going to promote it. And the only hope we have is that the American public doesn't buy it. That's why I say always vote with your dollar, vote with your feet. If you don't buy it, food companies can't make it. Farmers can't make money off of the commodities that are involved in producing it. And it changes the economics of the situation. And money is the only thing that talks in this whole situation. Dr. Twist, nobody pays attention to the UN anymore. You should, because a lot of policy is made that way, and a lot of countries come to agreements that are mutually and financially beneficial to the countries, but not necessarily the people within those countries. So I try and pay attention to this kind of shit. They need to be disconnected from the USA. Dig into everything. I do believe the USA is just as guilty of these tactics and these things. Look at academia, look at all the studies that come out that are biased, or even, and look at the corruption that's been proven in academia lately. And you got a formula for a nutritional guidelines being plant-based, which is huge, because then every government institution, including our children in schools, are going to have to eat a plant-based diet. And it's, you know, that's what is desired by all these industries. It's more profitable. Less food in your food. Easy to produce mass commodities that they already have large amounts. Like, I think they have 5,000 calories per person in this country in grain and stuff like that. And it'll make cheap food more, you know, it'll increase profit margins. It'll increase yields. It'll increase the availability of calories so that we're not worried about shortages or anything. And at the same time, it'll decrease our health even further than it's already gone. So that's my thought. Dig into everything. I believe it goes much higher than both the government and UN. Yeah, I believe I believe corporations hold more power than the government and the UN. You know, I've said so. Corporations have the power right now. All these big companies. You got Big Pharma has all the power over medical. Like, they literally control what's taught in universities. They control what doctors can and can't get away with in hospitals. You've got Big Food, which has got their hand in the pockets of the FDA and USDA, and they're constantly getting what's profitable for them pushed through, despite its effect on our health. Corporations are running shit. Straight, plain and simple. So much so that now they're tampering with elections and steering the narrative of what people think in their belief structures. Yeah. Dr. Twist, insurance companies dictate your medical care. It's a little bit, no, I wouldn't say that necessarily. It's not as bad as the pharmaceutical industry in terms of who's controlling your medical care. Pharmaceutical industry sets the price, and they probably, if anything, insurance companies will go up against that. Not that I'm a fan, by the way, of insurance companies, but if I had to point a finger and say who's fucking us up the most, the pharmaceutical companies are fucking us up the most in terms of our healthcare system. They are paying for symptom treatments instead of cures. They are only researching things that are profitable long term for their drugs, and we're suffering as a result. Insurance companies are just, okay, we'll fund you or not fund you, or, this treatment's approved, that treatment's not approved, because they're paying the bill and they need to remain profitable, so they're going to charge us more and fuck us over. I think if we were to nip it in the bud by getting the pharmaceutical industry under control, that our healthcare system could get better than it is. So that's my thoughts on insurance companies. I definitely feel that the pharmaceutical companies have a stranglehold on nutrition, health, and how we treat things. We're still giving statins to people. That's the most worthless fucking drug on the fucking planet. But it's profitable. They're making lots of money. That's who we got to worry about the most. Insurance companies we can tackle after that, but for the most part, dig into everything. For me, my doctor doesn't do shit because he doesn't get paid. My insurance company gets paid more than what it costs to give me, say, an MRI. You got to understand, the hospitals are overcharging for everything. The doctors are doing unnecessary procedures to generate profit. The pharmaceutical companies are charging astronomical amounts for the medicine, and the insurance companies are just trying to make money. I'm not sitting here defending the practice of insurance companies, because I think they've done a lot of underhanded things over the years to make money, including denying health care to some people, which is complete horseshit. But I still think the root cause is the pharmaceutical industry and the medical industries being for-profit systems that, do not make money off cures. They make money off treatments, tests, and I know people personally that have had tests ordered by their doctor that were completely unnecessary, and just so that they can bill the insurance companies more money. And when you got a bunch of corrupt motherfuckers doing that kind of shit to insurance companies are going to get corrupt too, to try and fight back against it. And I guess the big point I want to make here is that we're just getting shit on by both in the end. It's the flaw of a for-profit medical system is that, and unless we fix that somehow, it's just going to keep being bad. Dig in everything. You don't make money curing people, you make money treating it. That's what I'm saying exactly. I agree completely. Dr. Twist, are you saying that you are for Medicare for all? I would like, for as far as what I would see for a healthcare, first of all, we need to embrace more natural health type stuff, and there are doctors that are doing that now. We just kind of went over that in a video recently. I want to pull out all of this pharmaceutical corruption out of the system. I want to get nutritional health taken care of. Before we address the insurance problem, we need to address the cost of medical care, which is inflated beyond all fucking recognition. It shouldn't cost you thousands of dollars for 1 month's worth of pills to treat an illness or to keep a symptom at bay. You should be able to go to the hospital and get cures, not Band-Aids. And this includes nutrition interventions. There's a whole lot of other forms of medicine than allopathic medicine, where, you know, instead of just give them a pill, give them a shot, give them surgery. That's what we get now. You go to the hospital, you're getting one of those three things. You're getting a pill, you're getting a shot, or you're getting surgery. Those are your three options if you go into the hospital. What about them coaching you on proper nutrition that could alleviate some massive illnesses? What about, you know, these other forms of medicine which have been around for hundreds of thousands of years? And because in the early parts of this century, there was this big push for the pill formula being for everything. Why? Money. You know, we're pushing this pill-pushing form of treatment because it's profitable. I am not necessarily advocating for, like, government socialist healthcare. I'm more along the lines of let the price be more accurate, reflective. Let's get the demand for healthcare down by actually making people healthy, which is, we know through my channel and the things that we talk about, that is perfectly a legit process that you can do. And if we had educated doctors and hospitals that weren't just pushing pills and surgery on everybody, that we would absolutely reduce the demand for healthcare, thereby reducing the cost of healthcare. And what if all you had to do to get your healthcare was just the same thing you had to do to maybe get your car fixed? What if all you had to do was go to the hospital? An MRI, that's $100. Thanks. You know. Oh, you got your medicine? Well, give us $20. There you go. There's your medicine for the month. Oh, you got to stay in the hospital overnight? Oh, that'll be $90 a night. Oh, you need an ambulance ride? Oh, okay, that'll be $50. $100 if we had to do some shit to you in the ambulance. No, what do you pay now? You want an MRI? That'll be $50,000, please. You want this test? You want that test? Oh, thousands, more thousands. Oh, you got to spend the night in the hospital? Thousands. Some medicines are over $1,000 for a month. Name me an insurance company that's going to fucking keep doing that and not get shady and try and fuck people over. So I believe that we need to fix the demand by making everyone healthier through more natural ways instead of just pills and surgery. Not to say there isn't a place for some of that. But, you know, the cost is not reflective of what you are provided with by hospitals and the pharmaceutical industry. And it's not designed to cure you. It's not designed to make you healthier. It is designed to keep you coming back for follow-ups, for giving you tests upon test upon test, for giving you, you know, medicine that is going to cause other problems that you need more medicine to take care of. And I am convinced of this. You know, look at how they've treated diabetes this whole time. How they still treat. If you go into the hospital for diabetes today, they're not going to tell you to go keto. They're going to give you metformin, one of those. And then once your pancreas fails, they'll start giving you insulin injections. And the next thing you know, you're spending thousands upon thousands of dollars that could be easily taken care of if they just taught you how to do keto and fasting. That is our medical system. You want to fix the economics of the medical system, you got to fix our health. It's what? A third or a quarter of our economy is medical. Here in Syracuse, I'd say it's over half the economy here. We have like 5, 6 different fucking hospitals here, and we got clinics all over the place. We got fucking urgent care sprinkled all over the place. Huge amount of students come here to learn the medical trade. It's big business. And it's not big business if everybody's healthy. So, you know, honestly, we need to really fix that system. Then we can worry about the price and how to pay for it once that's fixed. And I don't think it would require, I mean, I think you could still do an insurance model, but the insurance premiums would be fucking way lower than they are now. Because they're not getting charged 50 grand for shit. You know? But everyone sees dollar signs, and in the end, we're the ones paying the fucking price there. So that's my thoughts on our healthcare and how to fix it. It's really less about the insurance and how we pay for it and whether or not the government pays for it, and more about we need to get rid of the corruption that's in the system and the pharmaceutical industry and all of that shit. So I'm going to try. I realize I ignored the chat because I was kind of on a roll there, and I had to keep my flow going. So let me get back into some of the comments here, because you guys have been pretty active. I believe in competition. There's no competition. They're all under the thumb of the pharmaceutical industry. You know, it's a pretty big business. Yeah, there may be competition between individual hospitals, but they all have the same goal, and they're all playing the same playbook. So, gyrospin, people go to the ER for a cold or a splinter. Yep, that also raises costs, and people stiff the hospitals too. That raises costs. You know, it's well known that you can go to the ER without any insurance, and they'll still treat you. They won't treat you well. And then they write off the cost, and then they add that cost to the price of everything else. So that's how that works. Dig into everything. Natural health needs to be supported by insurance companies, and they need to stop taking doctors' licenses away for being natural. I do agree that the insurance companies, it'd be in their best interest to promote this kind of stuff. Banks have promoted it, I will say that. But insurance companies, I don't even think they see the forest through the trees. They're more about cutting costs by denying care. Instead of, you know, trying to get us healthy. I think if they made us healthy, they'd have a better financial system. You know, but they're making profit. So they're taking that $50,000 MRI and they're splitting it up among everybody that's got insurance, and then lo and behold, they're making a profit on top of that. I'm not necessarily opposed to companies making profit, but right now they're just fucking piling on to us when all these other places are already fucking raking us over the coals for profit. And in the end, we're all suffering because of it. Even if you're healthy, your insurance premiums are going to be through the roof. You're still going to be paying for all the people that aren't. And in this country, most people are not healthy. They're in the healthcare system. They're on pills. They're going to fucking checkups all the time. And, yeah, that's how it goes. Dr. Twist, I agree. Just checking to see if you supported the idea. Basically, I think healthcare is a right, but I do it myself before I seek help. You know, like I've said that both sides have been ignoring the root cause of the problem in terms of how to fix healthcare system. And what's even more tragic is currently it's not a concern for our government or seemingly for the masses. They aren't worrying about it. They're worried about other things, and this is a pretty big problem. And pretty soon our healthcare system is going to break completely because under the weight. It's a little bit of a, see what I did there, you know, of our poor health. It's going to break the system eventually, and then you're going to have a pretty dire situation. Dig into everything. I was in an asylum for 4 days, and it was $5K. Yeah, I mean, how much does it cost to stay in a hotel? with maybe somebody comes in and checks on you periodically and gives you some drugs. I've actually visited someone in one of those places, so I know what it's like in there. And yeah, I would make the case that it should be more expensive than a hotel, but it shouldn't be fucking $5,000 for 4 days. I mean, I don't think they're giving them that much individual attention. A lot of times they were locking people in fucking rooms and without any furniture in some cases, you know. Matakoyo, thank you for the follow. We're only 2 away from the 200 follower mark that I've been trying to reach for a little while now. So thank you. I appreciate Matakoyo. I'm almost caught up, I think. That's what happens when I go off on these long tangents. Dig into everything. I'm thinking about doing keto and gaps. It'd be a very wise decision, especially if you have any mental health issues, if you have any autoimmune problems, if you have diabetes, if you're obese or overweight. You know, I've talked about it for years about how keto and carnivore have helped me overcome a lot of mental health issues I've had. And not to mention, I've gone from being obese to normal. My labs are all good. I'm not on any pills. I go in the doctor and he wants to give me a hug because I'm fine. You know, I'm doing all right health-wise at age 43. Look around at other people that are 43 and tell me how many people are like that. So that's keto, I think, is the way we should be eating, especially if you're sick. If you've got any illnesses whatsoever, start with keto. If your illnesses are severe enough, you might need to go carnivore-ish or carnivore completely. So that's my thoughts on that. A lot of people still don't agree with that, though, because it's not proven scientifically. Because we can trust that shit, right? 2 more to go. Woohoo! Yeah, I'm of the woohoo for that too. It'll be nice to see if I can get affiliate, and then I get to push for verified partner after that. That's a big one though. I don't know that I'll get there. Dig into everything. I just can't afford it. I can't either. I'm fortunate in terms of my health care. Because of the time I spent in the military, I did 10 years in the military. I have the VA as an option, plus I'm low income, so I can go to the VA, and I pay the prices I just described to you. Like, if I get a prescription, it's generally, no matter what the pills are, it's $20. I think it's like for a doctor's visit and stuff like that, I think I'm around $100 I gotta pay for a visit, and they'll even take that out of my taxes if I manage to not pay it. But my costs are very reasonable for what I get. Why can't it be that way for everybody? Why does it just be for, why is it just that way for us veterans? Now, granted, I feel I earned that for my 10 years of service. But I don't see a reason why we can't try and work on that for most people, if not everyone. But like I said before we can get to the how we pay for it part, we need to get to the fixing all this corruption and for-profit medicine that has these astronomical overpriced things in place that are going to break your bank. If you get cancer, there goes your house. There goes any assets you have. It's all going away. It'll be claimed. Eventually. As you progress through the illness, they will get all of your assets. You're going to get bills up the ass, even after your insurance company gets in there with these high premiums. Why? Because they don't want to get popped with everything. You're still got it. You're still getting fucked. If you get a major illness, you're going to deal with it the rest of your life, and they're going to take everything in the process. When you end up in that nursing home at the end, there goes all your assets. They get control of all of that. So, that's my thoughts on that. Northern Point, your reaction vids make the world a better place. I don't know about that. My reaction vids are, we started off fun, and then I ended up clicking on Shawn Baker, and then I got triggered. I'd say my reaction vids trigger me more than anything. I don't know that I'm making the world a better place. I know I've helped some people recover, and not just on my channel, but in my personal life I've helped people probably save tens of thousands of dollars in medical costs in some cases. So that's what I'm doing my part to help alleviate the problem. What we need is doctors to start doing this. We need more doctors, you know. And I think it's happening a little. I think we're starting to get more and more doctors on board. You know, I don't want to have to go see Dr. Westman if I have, you know, medical problems, because it's probably going to cost me an arm and a leg due to the high demand. You know, that's my thoughts. Dig into everything. Take notes, ladies and gentlemen. This man knows a lot. Oh, well, I'm not a fucking expert. I am not the end-all be-all on this shit. This is my thoughts. You know, dig into everything. I don't know if you know, this is my wheelhouse. This is what I do. It's what I've done for 4 years now, is work on my personal health, and in the process share my journey so that people will learn this stuff. And I'm hoping to reach people that haven't hit the health wall yet, that are in this, that get entwined in this fucking trap that's waiting for them. You know, everyone, all these young kids nowadays, they ain't giving a two shits about this stuff. Thank you, Northern Puma, for the follow. Whoa, does that put us at... Well, I apparently lost somebody or something, because it just says 190. Or maybe it takes a minute to update. I don't know. I wonder who my 200th follower is going to be. We'll see. And will I keep them? I'm going to give it a few days before I apply, if I get that. Dig into everything. The American dream at the moment is just a huge gangbang, except we don't enjoy it. Well, we definitely are on the same page there. Dig into everything. See, it's about finding the common ground on certain things. Even if we differ in some of the other things. The American dream is dead. I'm a minimalist. I've been railing against the American dream for a while. You don't have to look far to see it. There's a widening gap between the rich and the poor. The middle class is almost gone. Home ownership is a dream for the newer generations, and definitely not something that's probably going to be in my future. Retirement is fickle. The day and age of working a 40-year job and a career and then retiring comfortably is gone. And not to mention, your health will likely be fucked by the time you get to retirement age, which seems to have gone up to 67 instead of 65. That's, you know, the American dream based on unbridled consumerism is becoming, you know, it's a dream. Dreams don't come true necessarily. For some people, they'll get there, and I'm happy for them, but I've learned to live with less. I've learned to live on a lower income. I do have the option to go work for the man 70 hours a week and make $60,000 a year. I've chosen to make under minimum wage because I do not want to sell every ounce of my time and life force to a corporation. That's what I'm about. So you're right in my wheelhouse on that stuff. Dig into everything. I have autoimmune and diabetes runs in my family. It's just expensive to eat healthy. You know, I honestly do believe there is a genetic component to diabetes. However, I don't think that's why most people get it. I do believe it is 100% our food environment and the things we're raised to eat, the way things we're fed from cradle to the grave are set up. And I do believe that even if you're genetically prone to diabetes, you probably wouldn't get it if we didn't eat the way we do and live the lifestyles we do. It is, you know, my mother's been in remission now for over a year. She lost a lot of weight. Her blood sugar's in the 90 to 120 range after being found to be in the 300. They wanted to put her on medication. She refused, and she probably because she's heard me bitching for all these years. And she's doing great without any medication in the process. And I'm confident that if she sticks to the diet, she will never be put on diabetes medication. I don't think she's cured. I think she has burned out her beta cells in her pancreas, but if she sticks to this diet, she will never have to be medicated. She won't succumb. Thank you, Double Delta, for the ice cream. She won't succumb to the complications that come with diabetes. And she's had a stroke once already a while back, and that's what kind of spurred her to finally get serious about things. And I'm impressed because she was not, in the beginning, she was not on board with all of this keto shit. She kind of fought it. You know, there was a time period that she asked me to help her, and I came and I got all the food, the bad food items out of the house, and then they ended up back. And it wasn't until she had slipped on the ice and hit her head and had to go to the hospital for that. And then while she was there, they checked her blood sugar. It was over 300. They started giving her insulin right away, which I was pissed off about, while feeding her shit, mind you. Like a standard American shitty diet they gave her for food. Oh, here's this. Your blood sugar's fucking 300. We're going to give you the standard American diet, and then we're going to stick you with insulin. And in the same meantime, we're going to charge you and your insurance company thousands of dollars for this. Have a nice fucking day. You know, I'm very passionate about this, if you couldn't tell, because of the people that I've seen suffer, the people that I've lost over the years, and for generations to come that are going to have to deal with this shit. So, Double Delta Zero, good night. Thank you for hanging out, Double Delta. I was glad to see you. I think I missed a few comments above you. Northern Puma, I've learned to live during war. Gotta say, war is never the answer. What is the war? Where did that come from? How do I... And I'll do my part to getting one step closer to affiliate. Apparently I missed a lot of chat. Hold on. I'm sorry if I missed you. It's just I've been flowing, and I tend to zone while I'm doing that. I wasn't a handicap until the VA got a hold of me, but I catch your drift. I understand your views on the VA. We discussed this before, Gyro. But I will say, yeah, and they're not immune, by the way. I'm fortunate in that I don't have to pay a lot for health care, but I'm also not getting the best health care, and I'm also... They're doing all the same shit. I mean, they still get paid for all of this. It's just their money's coming from people, the taxpayers. So it's costing taxpayers if people are in that system. And they're going to make mistakes, and they're going to do the same thing. You go in there, they're going to give you pills, and they're pretty good about giving you pills too. They're going to give you surgery. You know, they're going to do all the same things that all the for-profit ones do, because they also are making money. I don't know if they make as much profit as the standard hospitals do, but I do know the costs are probably similar to the taxpayers, being that the government's been known to pay thousands of dollars for a hammer. So it wouldn't surprise me that there's some kind of money shenanigans going on there. Let's see here. I'm getting caught up, it looks like. I've been eating better. Most of the neighbors since I was 12. I believe I'm keeping diabetes at bay, but if we're astray and starting... Are you on medication? Dig into everything? That's a question. Bad, I'd get diabetes. I have a lot of symptoms of diabetes, but don't actually have it. What's your A1C? What's your blood sugar? Do you get like any hypoglycemic symptoms? Do you pee a lot? You know, do you have high blood pressure? You know, are you obese? These are all questions to consider, because quite honestly, this is the time to nip it in the bud. You don't want to wait until you have a diagnosis to take action. I'm 100% diabetes free, and I was pre-diabetic at the start of my journey because I got to it before my pancreas started to fucking tank. My A1C was starting to climb. My blood sugar was climbing. I was pissing sugar to the point where my DOT physical, they wanted to test me for diabetes. I was obese, and I was knocking on diabetes' door, and a lot of people are pre-diabetic, but because their pancreases are still cranking out that insulin, it's not going to show in their blood sugar and A1C. It'll show in their insulin levels, which consequently they don't check to determine if you're diabetic or not. How high your insulin spikes to get your blood sugar under control will let people know. It's a much better indicator of diabetes than your A1C and blood sugar levels. And a lot of times your insulin levels will be so high, even when you're not eating, but your A1C and blood sugar will look normal. Meanwhile, you are pre-diabetic because of the amount of insulin you're needing to crank out. And then the longer you stay in that state, eventually your pancreas is going to start to have beta cell failures, and that's when your blood sugar starts to climb. And right now, they've raised it to where you can damn near have, like, I think it's close to 6 or 7 A1C before they start to worry about it. That is too late. Don't wait for that. I don't know if you can ask for an insulin test. They'll probably charge you a couple grand for it. You know, if you think you're prone to it, start now, because once your pancreas fails, there's no going back. If your pancreas beta cells haven't failed yet, you can give it time to heal by going keto, by giving your pancreas a break, to where it doesn't have to pump out as much insulin to keep your blood sugar under control. If you do that now, you will not get diabetes, unless you go back to business as usual. But you will give yourself more time before you succumb to it if you go back, because you will have healed some, but you'll still damage it if you go back to the standard American diet. Don't wait. I'm telling you, it's not something you wait for. I have so many people that come to my channel that have already passed the threshold, already are on diabetes medication, and it's because they didn't make the changes until after they'd already worn out their pancreas. The best hope they have is to be keto the rest of their life, and that'll keep them out of the complications of diabetes and off the medicine, and keep their blood sugar in a more tolerable level. Not even perfect. We're talking 90 to 120 blood sugars here, marginal A1C. But at the same time, they'll last a lot longer. They won't spend thousands of dollars on pharmaceuticals to control their diabetes, and they might die of other causes before complications of diabetes gets them. So things to think about, you know, and shit. Let's see. Gyro Spin Up, have you ever thought about a D-Live keto telethon? We're kind of going to do something like that. Well, not a telethon, but a long stream, because I'm going through that Keto Fest lectures this week, at least part of it. I don't know we'll get through all of it, because look at how much I talk. So, yeah, that's that. Do you just fast then and feast? Right now I do OMA 1 meal a day for the most part. I did 1 meal a day today. I generally fast. That means you fast around 20 to 22 hours before you eat, and then you make sure to eat it, all your calories for the day in that one meal. I don't do it that way intentionally, honestly, because I'm keto, my appetite. That's just how I naturally eat. I'm not hungry all the time. You know, I ate, let's see, what time did I eat today? I ate, I want to say it was 5 o'clock. I had ground beef. And here it is, 1:15. I haven't been hungry at all. Like, you don't see me wanting a snack or none of that shit. I haven't even thought about it, honestly, till you said something. I've done long fasts. Longest I've gone is 7-day water fast with black coffee in the mix. And, you know, I do that mainly to heal other things that I'm worried about. At this point, I don't do it for weight loss. I'm content with my current body weight and the measurement around the belly, so I'm not trying to lose weight. I'm just maintaining, but I don't have to do anything to maintain, really. I just eat my diet. I have maybe a cheat meal, or I had a cheat day recently. It didn't go well, but 2 weeks is my, you know, minimum amount of time between cheats, but I generally go 3 to 4 weeks between a cheat. And I'm really picky about what I cheat with. It has to be high quality. It has to be not just be a big sugar-laden thing, and not a big grain thing, usually. Usually it's like potatoes or something with vegetable oil or something like that. Something I know is unhealthy. You know, just to kind of participate with a lot of the people that are still stuck in that fucking diet, the standard American diet. So, let's see. I'm on Armour thyroid meds. Like I said, I'm not an expert. You need a keto-minded doctor if you are on any medication. I can't give you advice. But I will say that fasting and keto does sometimes make medications more potent, and you do have to be careful, especially if you're on diabetes or blood sugar medication and you go keto. It is something you definitely need to talk to your doctor about. Hopefully your doctor is open-minded. There are open-minded doctors. Believe it or not, in the VA, I found an open-minded doctor. I told him I was keto, fully expecting I was going to get some kind of fucking that's not healthy lecture. But he looked at my labs and he had nothing to say. And I was ready, too. I was like, ready to argue and shit. Didn't fucking happen, though. I was perfectly all right. Let's see here. Dig, did you need to build up enzymes for meat, especially red meat? Yes. When you first transition, you need to transform how you eat, and there's going to be growing pains. When you first go keto, you get keto flu. It takes 6 weeks to become fat adapted because you're switching your metabolism from being glucose based to fat based. You know, there's an adaptation period. You also need your gut health needs to shift. So, you know, your gut bacteria is set up to eat carbs mostly. When you go keto, that's going to change your gut bacteria profile, may lead to some digestive issues. Like Waldemir's saying about the enzymes, that needs to change. There's a bunch of epigenetics triggers that need to happen. Fasting kind of helps with those triggers as well, and you're turning on the fat burning machine. We'll just to put it in simple terms. When you switch to keto, you're flipping a switch in your DNA to turn on the fat burning machine. You're telling your body, look, this is the only fuel coming in, deal with it. And a bunch of enzymes changes take place, some epigenetic changes taking place, and your hormones normalize, your appetite normalizes, your gut bacteria profile changes, I believe for the better, but not perfect, because not all keto diets are the same or healthy for that matter. You know, whole foods, you don't want processed shit. And you don't want to just take the bun off your burger at fucking Burger King and call it keto. That's not it either. It's good in a pinch if you have to, but for the most part, you want to get all your food from the grocery store and prepare it yourself. I drink over a gallon a day. My feet hurt all the time. Lots of inflammation. I'm 5'4", 165 pounds. I'm not sure if that wouldn't say I'm obese. You might be overweight. Your belly measurement's important. Your belly measurement should be below half your height. So whatever your height is, the circumference around your belly button, you can get a tape measure to measure it. And if you're over that, that means you have a lot of visceral fat around your organs, that will lead to insulin resistance and diabetes and all of these other problems. And fatty liver is a thing to be concerned with if you drink, especially. But if you have lots of sugar, you almost certainly have fatty liver and need to address that. The inflammation is a big sign that your diet is a problem. As for the gallon of water a day, you have more electrolyte storage as a standard American dieter, so you might not run into some electrolyte problems, but I will say drinking a gallon of this kind of shit, you're going to dilute your electrolytes, and it's going to cause more harm than good. You need to make sure you're getting electrolytes with that, especially if you go keto. You're getting a lot of electrolytes if you're a standard American dieter because there's sodium in everything. You're getting some potassium in there. They do enrich bread and that kind of shit. So electrolyte problems are a lot less prevalent in the standard American diet. Not like they're not prevalent at all, but they're getting there. Having trouble keeping up with the chat here. I gotta start getting on the ball. Gyrospino, I had type 2 diabetes, HBP, and a toenail fungus. Keto got rid of all of it, plus I don't snore anymore. I also had sleep apnea, and as a truck driver, it's a no-no. That's gone for me now, too, as well. So, for me, my allergies went away. Like, I was allergic to, I get hay fever during different seasons. I would break out in hives regularly. If I even looked at a cat funny, I had to get Benadryl injections or some shit. And, you know, when I went keto, that all corrected. Lost all the weight. Not hungry anymore. Don't count calories. Don't even hardly exercise a lot of the time. my depressions improved on keto, but ultimately were alleviated mostly by going mostly carnivore, less plants in my life than the average keto. A lot less, like as in I don't hardly ever eat a salad. And, you know, these are all improvements. It didn't require I had to go through my period. There was a time where I tried the diet and failed and tried it and failed. And each time I retried it, I would go longer. And eventually I got over my addictions, because you're going to have withdrawal from carbs and sugar and all of that if you ever decided to do it. But dude, start researching this shit. If you're worried about your health and if you're suffering, I can tell you you're suffering right now. You're in the healthcare system. From what you've described to me, that person I'm talking about that gets wrapped up in that trap that takes all of your wealth, all of your quality of life, and monetizes it into the pockets of corporations and doctors and healthcare. Snap out of it, man. I'm telling you, this is the time. If you haven't considered it before, and don't take my word for it, don't just do what I'm telling you to do. Go out. There's a wealth of knowledge and information from doctors that are practicing this in their practices. Look up Dr. Westman, look up Jason Fung, look up Dr. Lustig, look up, there's so many brilliant minds that are studying and that, Stephen Finney, for example, is a doctor that's been doing this for 25 years. He's been on the diet for 25 years. Tim Noakes recently had a trial. Just Google the Tim Noakes trial if you want a really good education on this, because he presented one of the best testimonies and cases for the diet that I've ever seen on the internet. And he was found not guilty, and he kept his medical license. So I don't know where they're at with the appeal, but don't wait. Don't wait. Do you have a keto video diet? You can link me. I need to learn about it. I don't just have one keto video. I have a journey. So what I'll do is I can give you my channel link, because I cover a lot of different answers to a lot of different questions over the years. I don't have just like a one. Maybe early on I have some videos talking about it. So I'm not like a good starting point, I don't think, for keto, to give you all of it. But I do have a lot of videos where I kind of give you the same spiel I'm giving you now, only a lot more detail. I tend to talk a lot, so but I'm gonna go ahead and link my channel on here in case you seem like you've just found me through DLive. So I'm gonna share that with you, because I want you to really think about it. But don't just watch my shit on this. Watch, if you can find time, I do plan on sitting down and streaming Keto Fest, which has a lot of scientists and doctors speaking about this. And it's kind of my thing. It's the theme of my channel. It's why I'm even here. It's why people fucking are here putting up with me singing and throwing ninjats at me and shit, because I'm helping people do these things on my channel. Let me get to my channel. So there's my channel. Just
pretty sure I suck.
Sorry. That's my depression carnivore diet video. I really should update my landing page anyway. But I try and make it entertaining and funny and all of that. But at the end of the day, my goal is for people to, do what I do. Like if we look through here, and I'm not doing the reaction to the old video yet. That's coming though. I've been at this a long time. I've been talking a lot of different things, aspects of health and wellness and lifestyle. I've gone through some of the drama. I've done some funny stuff. I've done some other stuff too, like just some adventure stuff and some wilderness fasts. I talk a lot about nature. There's a buddy of mine who went keto and, had a lot of success. He has since fallen off the diet. I don't know how he's doing now in terms of health, or if he came back to the diet. There's a wilderness fast I did where I went out into the Adirondacks and did fasted hiking and stayed out in the woods with just water. So I documented that experience. I got to attend frequently. That might be a good starter video. Frequently asked questions about the ketogenic diet. I'm sick. Should I go to the doctor? I give my opinion there. So I got years of this shit. Just whatever you see. I've done carnivore experiments. You know, I occasionally stray from different topics, but it's my journey. You know, it's from start to finish. I've bitched about people that were trying to call the diet bad, you know, stuff like that. I talk a lot about quitting trucking because I left trucking to do more creative things and make less money and become a minimalist. So there's a lot of that in there. I talk about social media addictions and stuff like that. You know, and we're not even part way through. There's just so much. So I would say stick probably in the 1 year realm to get the best amount of knowledge I have. But yeah, that's me. That's why I'm here. That's why you see me streaming right now. And I hope to reach more people that aren't even looking for keto, just kind of like we stumbled into. I mean, you came here for a reaction stream, and now you're learning about a little bit about what I do in keto. And I can get sucked into talking about that anytime anybody asks me stuff. So I'm sorry if I fall way behind on chat, but I really, when someone expresses, like they come in and they're expressing interest in what this is, and they've never kind of really done it, I wouldn't even say I should be the first point on this dig into everything. I would rather you listen to some scientists that have done it, or some doctors. And I do tend to talk about them, but honestly, just start searching. Don't do it through the fucking algorithm now. Like, if you go in and type keto, let's see what we got here. What would I watch if I were you? Keto. Shit like this, not so much. Dr. Oz, fuck that. Look at this shit. This is why I hate it. Keto Connect's okay. They've been doing keto a long time. They're more of a cooking or product testing, that kind of stuff. But they do cover a lot of the ground of keto, so I would watch them. Eric Westman, this speech right here, Two Keto Dudes, follow them. They post a lot of good stuff. In fact, the Keto Fest videos are from their channel that I'll be working my way through in the coming days. Thomas DeLauer, he's anointed. He does have good information. I don't agree with 100% with everything he does. I do think he just regurgitates a lot of what other keto people say. But occasionally I have learned a few things that have helped me on my journey from his channel, so that's why I'm still subscribed to him. Why I quit? Oh, shit. I shouldn't have saw that. That's going on the watch list. Alright. Guide to the vegan keto. Apparently you can go vegan keto. It's a lot more difficult, though. I don't recommend it. Animals are the way to go. It's what we're designed to do. See, look at all this crap that is in the curated feed. This is why I'm pissed, alright? You know, why is I haven't clicked a Dr. Oz fucking video in forever. Like, a long time. Why is he half my search result for keto? There's way more fucking keto channels than him. Fucking Dr. Oz. I'm not a fan, by the way. In case you didn't figure that out. Let's see, what else? Dr. Mike. Why is Ken Berry not on here? That's another thing I'm pissed about. So, now that we've seen what the curated feed looks like, let's go up and see. And one other thing to note is nowhere in these rankings will you see my shit. You know, and I do get my shit from time to time recommended to me. But that's why I'm like, no new keto motherfucker's gonna necessarily find me easily. So we go to filter, we go to upload date. Let's see how the feed looks now. We got, oh shit, I didn't want to click on them. All right, upload date, video. So we got Keto Connect a lot, has been posting. We got a lot of, watch some of the anecdotal stuff too. Small people, small YouTubers doing this that just started out. You're gonna find out a lot of the pitfalls. So yeah, this is basically how you find, but honestly, you might need to get a little more specific, like Stephen Finney Keto. This is the kind of stuff you really want to focus on, because this is going to get into the science, how your body works, and you need to learn this stuff. You need to learn how your body works. You need to learn how it responds. They do all kinds of experiments on athletes and performance, and there's just a whole lot there. He doesn't like fasting though, so prepare you for that. I don't agree with him on that. But these are the kind of videos you really want to focus on if you're thinking of going keto. They're going to be boring, but you're going to learn a lot. So, feed is hanging up a lot, reloaded 3 times, no better. I'm sorry, Dr. Twist. I don't know what to do. It seems to be working. Yeah, my feed's doing all right. Meat does have micronutrients, but still, meat has a very complete nutrition profile, and if you combine it with eggs, you have all of your nutrition covered. Little known fact. Including vitamin C if you eat it fairly raw, or if you eat any organ meat. So there's that. I get my vitamin C because I still have tomatoes in my life, so I'm not too worried about that. And you don't need as much when you are keto as when you are a standard American dieter. You're not going to get scurvy. I don't have scurvy. I haven't had scurvy this whole time. And trust me, I don't eat a lot of vegetables or fruits for that matter. Fiber fucks with your bowel movements. I drink well water, not tap or bottled. I would still be concerned about runoff from glyphosate. That's a whole other thing I talk about a lot. It's a pollutant that is prevalent in our diet. It binds to minerals. It causes gut health issues. It's a patented antibiotic, so it kills your gut health. It's bad stuff. Something to think about if you're in an agricultural area especially. I'm seriously going to do keto. I thought keto was just a fad like a lot of other diets. If I'm only eating once a day, I can afford to buy. You know, give it a shot, man. I'm not saying that everyone comes to it and stays, but it is a process to get into. It takes 6 weeks, and you got a lot of it withdrawal to go through from the standard American diet. But your body will thank you. Your pancreas will definitely thank you if you're already pre-diabetic and just don't know it. Dr. Twist, don't expect OMAD at first. Ease into keto. Yeah, when you first start out, don't try fasting. Do your 6 weeks. Eat when you're hungry. Don't eat when you're not hungry. It's really that simple. Listen to your body in the beginning, and you'll see weight loss almost right away, regardless of the fact that you're not fasting. And then you'll find that you can go longer between meals, and eventually you'll end up straight up being able to like go all day and only eat one meal, and you're good to go. And that's the category I'm in. And if you get more into intermittent fasting, which is something else to look into if you're really wanting to get into it. Like I used to do alternate day fasting too, where you'd eat every other day. And that's how I got a lot of my weight loss done. Who's Shawn Baker? Shawn Baker is a carnivore diet. I don't start people off in that. I only recommend carnivore if you're struggling on keto with some refinement of your diet, or if you're severely having mental health issues, and if you're having severe autoimmune problems. I would look to do what I call a carnivore reset, which is where you eat nothing but meat for 30 days, and then one at a time you can bring back ketogenic foods that and see how you feel. It's called an elimination diet, and carnivore diet is a great baseline for it. Some people end up going carnivore for years. Shawn Baker has been carnivore for 2 years, I think. Is it 2 years? You know, there's other people like Michaela Peterson have been doing it a couple years. You got Amber O'Hearn's been carnivore for 8 years. I would start off with keto though if I was a newbie, because carnivore is going to be a big thing to bite off during your withdrawal period from the standard American diet. There are people that do go from standard American to keto or to carnivore. I've done carnivore. I like carnivore. But I also like a few foods that are still keto, and if I can tolerate them, I'll eat them. You don't have to paint yourself into a box necessarily. Another thing you'll want to figure out is your carb tolerance, which for me is 50 grams. And you can buy the pea strips from any pharmacy. You get and when you first start out, they're going to be fairly accurate when you start out. As you've been on the diet longer, the strips aren't as accurate. You have to go to the blood meter if you want to figure that out if you're in ketosis. But what you need to do at some point in your journey, probably after the 6 weeks, is figure out your carb tolerance, which is you start off as low carb as you can go, 10 grams per day. And then each week you add 10 grams. And then keep checking your ketosis levels to see if you're still in ketosis. And then you do that each week until you bounce out of ketosis. So, you know, say you go 3 weeks and you got 30 grams, still in ketosis. Then you go to 40 grams, still in ketosis. 50 grams, out of ketosis. Some people are fucked up to where they get to 20 or 30 and they'll get kicked out. Some people are, you know, particularly if you're very in a very physical job, or you do a lot of physical activity, or you go to the gym and you do that kind of stuff, you might be able to tolerate 60, maybe even 70 grams per day without getting, at least not for a long period of time, kicked out of ketosis. So something else to consider if you get on your ketogenic journey. So yeah, learn the many names. Find out who the big players are. That was Gyro Spin Up wrote that. There's lists of keto food items and menu. Yeah, it's easy to follow the diet. But I recommend going beyond that, Waldemar. I recommend learning why it works, how your body works. And once you understand that, it makes it easier to stick to it, because you know what the bad foods do to you. And you're also going to feel like shit if you ever go back, too. You become more sensitive to all of this poison you've been ingesting all these years once you take it out of your system for a little while. And so anytime you have a cheat day, you're going to know you cheated. And if that doesn't dissuade you from going back, you know, then obviously it's not the diet for you. But if you're worried about diabetes, you don't have the luxury of being too picky at this point, in my opinion. So, digging everything. I gotta go, everyone. Peace and love. Thank you, and I'm glad that I could introduce you to keto. Anybody that I can reach and that hasn't, you know, that isn't looking for keto, I consider a victory, especially if you get into it and it helps you. So, thank you and shit. And to those of you in the chat who are also helping answer his questions, I appreciate that. You know, who knew that we were gonna I was gonna end up working tonight. Got me working and shit. So you gotta. I guess that's how it works. I already fast, by the way, about 12 to 16 hours. 16 and 8 is probably the lowest that you would want to go with a fast. But hey, any fasting is better than 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 20 fucking meals a day, like a lot of people. But the reason I went from fasting to keto, for me, it was because I was having insatiable hunger, and a lot of my health problems were still bad. My mental health was still shit. My energy started to have problems. I plateaued at like 215, 220 pounds in that area for a long time while I was still eating the standard American diet. And you know, it wasn't until I discovered keto that all of these problems with just doing intermittent fasting and eating the standard American diet really went away. And I don't want to be hungry anymore. that's my big motivator, and I like my health the way it is now, and I know if I were to do just fasting in the standard American diet, I'd be asking for a lot of problems. There's a lot of symptoms that most people on the standard American diet put up with that they don't understand what it's like to not have them. They're so used to it, they just think that's how they normally feel. Headaches all the time. I very rarely get headaches, and if I do get a headache, it's because I did something stupid. You know, I haven't taken headache medication in over a year. You know, I've had a few headaches, but they were usually when I was in the drinking phase of my life. Something along those lines, or I get dehydrated occasionally, and because I don't take care of my electrolytes and water, and so I haven't had to take any allergy medication. I haven't broke out. My skin cleared up a lot. You know, and I do occasionally fuck up and have cramps because I don't keep my electrolytes, because I do have a few vices left. I do a lot of coffee, too much coffee. So start off with 20 grams of carbs per day, add them up, make sure you don't go over it, and do that for 6 weeks with no cheat days. You're going to feel like shit at first. Eventually, you'll start to feel better, you'll start to feel clearer, you start to feel less hungry, your hormones, you won't be as hungry as frequently. And then if you got weight to lose and you want to work on fasting, you can increase your fasting times, and I think you'll find the fasting is a lot easier. You can go multiple days without being hungry. Or only mildly hungry, not angry and hangry and shit. So according to the list, the only thing I eat that isn't keto is grains. Lots of bread and rice. Need to stop that. Yeah, grain is the worst food we eat. It is in all processed foods. It is heavily desiccated with glyphosate by the industrial agriculture industry. And it is responsible, I believe, for all autoimmune problems, all gut health issues, including leaky gut. I believe it is also responsible for chronic inflammation, for depression, for anxiety. I believe grain is the central food. Like, if you were to change your diet and not go keto, the one thing you should get rid of is fucking grain. And I've done lots of videos. You can find these videos on that. You know, read books too. Start getting one of those Audible, Amazon audiobook things, or if you like to read, buy the books. Get stuff like Grain Brain. Learn these things. Look at the keto authors out there. Nina Teicholz, you know. All these big names have books, you know, including Stephen Finney. They took over the estate for Atkins pretty much, and rewrote the book into a ketogenic book instead of just a, you know, let's just eat meat book, which is what Atkins used to be. Because I tried and failed Atkins. Atkins doesn't emphasize fat. You want to eat the same amount of protein you eat, but you definitely want to up the fat game and take the carbs down. You still want to get all your calories in. This is not a low-calorie diet. Do not count calories. You know, some people disagree with me on that. I don't do it. I've never really got into counting calories. I did at the very beginning when I was stupid. And then once I figured out I didn't have to do it anymore, I was very relieved. Weight loss should come from fasting. Because once you're fat adapted, once you've done the 6 weeks, you get full access to your body fat. And if you have a lot of body fat, you're going to naturally just lose it, because your hormones are going to regulate your appetite, your metabolism in such a way to burn off that fat for energy, and you will not feel hungry for extremely long periods of time once you're fat adapted. So these are all things to think about. So yeah, get rid of that fucking bread. That bread's shit. Even on cheat days, I'm very leery of grain. I did a grain cheat day recently. I don't think it was the cause of my problem, but it didn't go well. It was definitely not something that I would do on a regular basis. So, Waldemar, yeah, no fucking grains. Fuck the grains. I should make a fucking t-shirt that says fuck grain. Can I make a t-shirt like that? Is that legal? Is that allowed now in today's society to have a shirt that says fuck grain? If it isn't, it should be. Well, there are 60s good. I don't know. I don't test, never have. Are you talking about for is 60s with your glucose meter? Actually, 60s is kind of low, Gyro. But if you're in ketosis, 60s is fine. If you are, I assume you're keto, Gyro. So 60s is fine. 60s is about, you know, pretty much peak for somebody on a ketogenic diet. See, when your blood sugar drops on a ketogenic diet, ketones take up the slack, so you don't get hypoglycemic symptoms. So if you're not experiencing symptoms and you're getting 60s, you're good. My blood sugar tends to be in the 70s to 80 range after I eat, and it doesn't fluctuate that much. It kind of stays in that area. So maybe I still got a little bit of damage there. I haven't checked it in the past year, so I don't know if it's improved at all, but I was monitoring it fairly regularly, and it just stayed in that range no matter whether I ate, fasted, whatever happened. So my blood sugar is pretty good. My A1C has been well within healthy range for quite a while. In fact, lower than what they allow a lot of the time. So that's where we're at there. Dig into everything. If I can get better and get my energy back and stop being in so much pain all the time, you have my full support, sir. Well, I hope I've started you on a journey, and it is a journey that will lead to a better life. I've had people tell me that I've helped them. I'm always pretty modest about it because I do believe I just point people in the right direction. And that's all I want to do is just kind of say, hey, look over here. Look, I did this and it worked. Maybe you should look into it, kind of stuff. It's socially, it's hard though, Dig. I will tell you that. You're not going to have the support of your family at first. But the great thing is you get to have that fuck you moment where they talk shit about it in the beginning and you're just like, okay, whatever, and then you show up 6 or 7 months later and you've lost all this weight, your skin looks better, you look healthier, you have better energy, you're more snappy with your thoughts, you're not in that fog that comes with all that grain and sugar that you eat, and at that point, if you reach that point, you don't cheat and fail on the diet before that, then they're like, oh, so I saw you lost. In fact, they'll just come up to you. Oh, I see you look great. You lost a lot of weight. How'd you do it? Oh, I'm keto, motherfucker. And you'll be surprised at who joins you on that journey. And you should definitely, lead by example. They're not going to support you in the beginning, though. I will tell you that. They're not going to be on board until you can show them that it fucking is working for you. And then they'll be like, and even then, some of them will be like, nope, fuck that. I ain't giving up my fucking glyphosate. I'm going to eat my fucking glyphosate till I fucking die. What you're doing is unhealthy. Meanwhile, they're like 400 pounds and fucking on all kinds of medication and going to the doctor every other week. But yet they're going to tell you suck. Just saying. Anyways. Can you tell I got a little triggered there? There's a little bit of vein pop action going on there. You'll buy that t-shirt, fuck grain. Maybe I'll have that. Maybe that'll be how I make a living as a YouTuber. I'll start making shirts that say fuck grain, fuck Monsanto, fuck sugar. I won't go as far as say fuck vegans, though. That'd be too much. I can't go that far. I'd be in spherage territory if I said something like that. I would wear a shirt that says I eat all the fucking cows, or something that might poke a vegan here and there. Like, or even just hashtag carnivore on my shirt, maybe. That'd be nice. I do tend to like to poke the vegans. I'm sorry. It's my guilty pleasure. So, it is what it is. Gyro Spin Up, we loved our bread, sugar, noodles, and taters. They just didn't love us back. We had our time. One way of looking at it that I look at it is I had my time. I got to eat all of that shit. I had all the dopamine fucking driven foods I could have fucking stuff in my face over the years. I didn't give no shits. I didn't think about it. I had a good run. I made it to my mid-30s before I really started to be fucked by it. But at the same time, I suffered numerous symptoms throughout that time that I normalized, including my mental health, including all this, you know, I felt like shit. I couldn't do the things I do now. I go hiking and shit now. I didn't do any of that shit back then. I sat and played fucking video games, drank Mountain Dew, and got fat. That was what I did. Now I go out and explore. I go and hike. I do all of these other things. I travel. I'm active when I get out there, when I'm not working here, that is. And I'm able to do 10 times the amount of shit I used to do. And on top of that, I'm not depressed laying in bed wanting to off myself. There was a lot of years that were like that. I would trade all of that if somebody would have came back and slapped me across the face when I was fucking 20 and said, look, stupid, stop doing this. I wish somebody, some old fuck that looked kind of like I did, would have walked up and said, hey, dickhead, stop eating that shit. This is your future if you don't stop. I don't think the young people are getting that nowadays, and I wish somebody would have done it to me. You know, that's my thought there. You sucked me into talking about this. I was trying to not work tonight. You got me completely going. So, dig into everything. Yeah, I'm going to get my mom to do it. That's a task. It took a while for my mom to get on board. She only eats like once a day already. For the rest of my family, the faster, the better. The only way I think you're going to get, like I said, you're only going to get your family on board if they see that you've done it successfully. Not only has my mother stayed on board, but now some of her friends have gone keto, you know, and this does spread. That's the only way it spreads is A, the person has to have already be suffering something that you're probably were suffering from too, and you need to show them that that's how you fixed it, and they have to want to change because of that suffering. If they perceive themselves as good enough and they're not concerned with their health and they're not on medication and they're not doing all of this shit, you're going to have a hard time convincing them to do it. I've tried it with people who say I'm good enough. Generally, they're younger people that do that. Most of the older people tend to be already hitting the wall and being like looking for a way out. Well, I'm 22, so here's how... Oh, you're that young? That kind of changes a lot. I mean, you're really 22 and you're already dealing with a lot of this? That upsets me. Most 22-year-olds I encounter, they aren't even fucking thinking about health. You know, or they think vegan's what they should be doing. So yeah, I'm impressed that you're 22. I actually thought you were a lot older based on our conversations here. So you're a very mature 22, that's for sure. My mom and I have on a health journey for 10 years. She does love her bread, though. That's going to be the hardest part. You know, like I said, you might have to lead by example, but if she's already doing a lot of the things that you're doing and she's on board and, you know, supportive of you in that respect, you should absolutely tell her about keto. Tell her what you see out here. Read comments, too, on my videos. A lot of my subscribers have shared not only their stories, but their tips on things that are commonly problems within the diet or things that we run into. Where it's a community where we kind of help each other stay on. A lot of people say they use my videos, you know, whenever they're having trouble sticking with things or changing the diet, or I'm kind of like a coach, I guess, in that respect. But yeah, you know, start learning this stuff. You will thank me. Hey, you're 22 now? Oh, if I only fucking did this when I was 22. I wish. My life would be completely fucking different if I had done this at age 22. So, definitely. Especially if you're already having symptoms and problems and you're aware of it. This is the time, man. This is the fucking time for you. I'm fucking happy for you that you're discovering this at 22. I look at my fucking age demographics on my videos. 22-year-olds aren't looking for keto. They're not even interested in any of the shit that I talk about. So Yeah. Honestly, one of the reasons I thought you were older, Dig, is because most of my crowd is either my age or maybe 10 years younger. There's a few youngsters that have followed me here and there. But I don't reach the young kids. You know, it's one of the reasons I want to diversify my content, is I'm hoping that a situation exactly like this happens where I'm doing something else, and then somebody asks me a question, and then I get sucked into this spiel, and that maybe I can bring people who, you know, I feel like I'm preaching to the choir in a lot of my videos, so I try to bring new people to think, at least very, you know, having it in the back of their minds, so the next time they're going through a health problem, they can kind of be like, well, I kind of heard about this over here, you know, instead of CNN or any of these other fuckers that are you're going to hear all kinds of shit, you know. There's a lot of bad press that has come out over the years. I'm just here to tell you my story. I've done this for 4 years. My health dramatically improved and continues to be improved. I've reversed things in myself without any medical intervention. I don't guarantee that for everyone. I'm just saying in my situation, keto and fasting and to a large degree minimalism and lifestyle have improved my life tenfold. And to discover that at fucking age 22, you know, and by all means spread it to some of the people your age if they happen to be curious, and if you're successful with it. So I wish you a lot of luck, Big, in terms of becoming keto aware at this point. You know, and if you don't make it, at least you gave it a shot and you try. But if you're worried about the things you've said, this is the diet and the nutrition that you should be trying to follow. And there's a whole lot of information on it. You're going to dig through some shit, especially with this algorithm bullshit. You might need to start getting a little more specific with your searches. But I would start off with Stephen Finney, maybe work your way through some Dr. Westman. About that time, you should start seeing this kind of shit. Low Carb Down Under, that is also a very good channel because a lot of different people do lectures. This should be your first fucking channel here to subscribe to, honestly, because, and look how low it is, by the way. These are all big players in the keto sphere, and they're all doing their own research. They're all got different experiments they've done, both to themselves, to patients. They got clinical data. You even got Shawn Baker on there. I don't know, he fits in very well here. But you know, Michaela Peterson, don't eat that, you know. And she's the one that's been carnivore and cured her autoimmune and depression illnesses. Very famous. It's Jordan Peterson's daughter. So if you're familiar with Jordan Peterson, he also did carnivore. Gary Taubes, he's got a lot of good books on the subject. He's a journalist that started reporting on this. These are some big names here. These are the names to Google. Paul Mason does one on vitamin D and sunlight. Yeah, there's a lot of good speeches here and lectures, and we're gonna, like I said, over the next couple days, we're gonna do some ourselves. Amber O'Hearn, carnivore. There you go. If you're really unhealthy, you definitely want to consider carnivore as an option. Megan Ramos, she's Jason Fung's understudy, pretty much. I'm sure Jason Fung's in here somewhere. There are some other good ones. But yeah, here's kind of a who's who good launching point for this. Jimmy Moore, you know, what he says is right. I don't know that everyone's happy with him, but he's in there. Let's see here. Nina Teicholz, very good journalist on the myth of fat and cholesterol and all of that shit. Dave Feldman, also very good on the cholesterol myths and stuff. So, yeah. Work your way through these. Trust me, there's thousands and thousands of fucking hours of this out there. a great deal of what I learned was through these kinds of lectures and their books that they wrote. I did, like, I would watch a lecture and I'd be like, yeah, okay, I'll buy your book. And then I go and buy the book, and sure enough, I'm happy with what I learned from the book. So these are all, learn this shit. I'm telling you, you'll at 22, you got plenty of time to fucking learn this. You know, if I can do it from 38 to 43, you know, then you can do it. D'Agostino is pretty, yeah, he's a good one, definitely. So thank you, I really appreciate it. I do believe God brought me here because I just had a feeling about your stream. I had no interest in keto. So yeah, I hope I helped, and spread the word too. Don't just take this as the holy grail, so to speak, of nutrition, and then not share it with people your age. And I think raise an awareness, especially if you got a lot of friends your age who also are suffering. That's important. Show them that you can get better, and they're gonna talk the most shit of all. You know, young people are gonna give you the most shit, straight up. I know from experience. Trust me, been doing this a long time. But don't let them sway ya. Learn from these motherfuckers here, and then you'll be all right. Dig into everything. I say I know about 80% of what there is to know about food, health, and shit. Like I said, I just thought keto was a fad, so I ignored it. Well, you're about to learn a whole new fucking realm of nutrition, because a lot of the science and papers out there on nutrition are biased pieces of epidemiology bullshit that all came out of Ansel Keys' ass in the government and food guidelines and the... You know, this is not medically supported, by the way. You're not going to go to the hospital and get any of this advice unless it's a specialty clinic by a doctor that's practicing keto. You might have some, psst, okay, keto's okay, from your doctors, but you won't. They're not going to step outside their rule books. So that's something else to keep in mind. Nutritionists aren't generally on board either, but I think they're starting to realize that, hey, I need to fucking start learning this shit, because people are going to them and being like, I ain't listening to fucking you. Look at what I lost 80 fucking pounds. I ain't fucking doing your fucking low, eat less, move more fucking nutrition shit. And they go in, they tell her, and then the nutritionist loses their business because they're not keeping up with this stuff. So, yeah. You might have to forget some of what you know to get into some of this, in my opinion. Digging everything. I have a few friends who could benefit from it, but they're stubborn assholes. LOL. Yeah, me too. And my friends are close to my age, and they're still stubborn, and they need it. Like I've got friends that have had bariatric surgery. I've got friends that have, you know, some serious emotional problems. I've seen a lot of people just tore up by this food system. And I was one of them, and because I escaped, I wanted to take all my friends on the ride, my family and everything, and, you know, I can't reach everybody. I tried. I really did. Unfortunately, they have to get there on their own in most cases. You know, they'll be very argumentative, very standoffish. This system has been beating the high-carb, low-fat dogma into everyone's ear. I was raised on it. I was taught it in school. It's preached by dietitians. When I was in the Air Force, I didn't get promoted because I was obese in the Air Force. And they had me with a nutritionist telling me to eat basically less and move more and eat more fruit and all of that shit. I went on Atkins and failed. You know, it was a journey. Well, you know me, my information isn't standard. You think a conspiracy theorist is going to be okay with CNN on nutrition? Oh, I have faith in you. Just the fact that you seem open to this says a lot. And it's probably why I assumed, you know, you were older than you are, because I don't get this attitude from young people very often. I'm not saying never. I do know that there are some young viewers of my channel. But when I look at the demographic breakdown of who's watching my keto videos, granted, it might just be me, it's generally middle-aged in terms of the majority. I got a few late 20s, I think, some early 30s, but I think it's growing younger because everyone younger is getting sicker, more quickly. Yeah, I made it to my late 30s before I was like, oh shit, I better fucking do something. I think there's 20-year-olds that are really starting to get there, that they're like, oh my God, I had to go to the doctor, I break out, I'm fucked up, I got all these problems, I got kidney stones, I got all this fucking anxiety and depression and miserable and shit. And I think what they need is just somebody to kind of say, hey, oh, by the way, you can get rid of all that shit without spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on medical shit. So honestly, my journey wouldn't have started if I wasn't about to die when I was freaking 12. Well, maybe we can go over that. I know you said you wanted to maybe go over that privately. I do have email on my website, and I do read those, and people have mailed me their stories. So if you don't feel comfortable talking about or asking questions or anything in a public forum, on ScottTheTruckDriver.com, I have a way for you to get in touch directly to kind of talk about things. And I hear you on the depression and the suicide thing, because I've been there. And that was one of the biggest motivators for the past, I'd say, couple years that I've been working on the mental health side of this. Because keto didn't necessarily 100% get me out of that depression cycle. I really had to nail it to carnivore and take some more foods out of my life before my depression subsided. And alcohol had to go too. So if you're a big drinker and you have a lot of mental health issues, I would definitely say that needs to be on the chopping block. Waldemar, the seals are able to go deeper and stay down longer with the bubbles of bubbleless aqualung. I'm not sure what all of that. Did I miss something? I probably missed something. Aqualung. The military is doing their own keto studies now, I read. That is very true. And you know who's part of that? That would be Stephen Finney and Jeff Volek are both doing experiments with the military for keto on soldiers. And that is an actual ongoing study as we speak. That study's going on. The military is definitely going to be interested in this in terms of giving soldiers better performance, because one of the things they've found with keto, particularly with ketogenic athletes, is their endurance on low-intensity activities is increased. And there's ketogenic cyclists and runners that have set records because they became a well-adapted, fat-adapted, which pretty much meant that they could run way longer, because you only get 2,000 calories of glucose in your body to use, and you can burn through that pretty quick if you're an endurance athlete. But you can carry tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of calories of fat, and if you're a fat-adapted athlete, you can go a lot longer. You're going to be sore. You're going to have other problems, but you'll outlast a glucose burner unless they're dropping gels like every fucking 10 minutes or some shit. So, digging into everything. I've worked a lot on my mental health. I say I'm pretty down on that, but it's the energy and physical aches and pains that I cannot overcome. Well, I hope this gives you another option. I don't know your whole story, but I will say for me it's worked, and I get a lot of people that have been here chatting with you tonight in this chat room have the same results I've had, and I get a lot of comments from people that also do, but don't just take my word for it. I'm kind of like just the asshole going, see, look at all of this shit. These people are doing the work that you see here. They're doing the work on this. They're shining the light and showing us how our body works, why these mechanisms are in place. And when you take this into account with the clinical data and all the all the mental issues and all of the experiences, and you just take all of these things and you put them together and you put the puzzle together, and it starts to look finished. So that's my thought. That's what I think. I'm going to start it tomorrow, and I'll force myself to keep going for 3 months at least. 6 weeks is really, you should know by 6 weeks if it's helping you. Thanks for showing it to me, and thanks all in chat thanks to all in chat for answering questions and testimonials too. So, yeah, let's all support Dig in this endeavor if he keeps coming back and checking in with us. And if you have any problems, don't hesitate to comment or message or email me or hang out with me here on DLive. You know, you pick my brain. That's why I'm here, really, because people do. There's a lot of pitfalls to this, but you sound like you're on the ball with self-experimentation portions of it. And you sound like you're in tune with how you feel. And when you add some knowledge to why things work the way they do, I think you got a good go at it, especially since you're looking into this at age 22. I really do wish somebody had slapped me around when I was 22 and said, hey, this is what you can do. For sure. All right, I'm going to go for real this time. 2 a.m. for me. Well, it's 2 a.m. for me as well, so I am going to go as well. This has been a fun stream. I really wish I would have recorded this. I didn't expect it to get this deep. I might have to try and record the replay because I think I should do this as a video. I think I need to share this with the audience on YouTube at some point. So, yeah, if this helped you and you want me to keep doing this and you're watching this stream later, head to ScottTheTruckDriver.com and leave a tip in the virtual fucking tip jar. You can also, for free, subscribe to ScottTheTruckDriver.com to get all my content going forward, and including podcasts, and there's already some free shit in the subscriber lounge. I do send out an email once, almost once every day if there's something to talk about or some new shit that I want you to know about. I'm writing blog posts there again, so the blog is more active, and I'm covering more than just keto. I'm starting to cover other subjects for exactly the reason that I want people who aren't looking for keto to stumble on it, by giving them other content they may be looking for. Thanks for the lemon, Gyro. I appreciate it. And thank you to everyone that donated. Dave and MSP, Mr. Humpty, especially Dave and MSP with the ninja drop.
I think I'm gonna get me some Tutti Fucking
digital.
Frutti.
Tutti Fucking Frutti, that sounds good.
I don't know what digital is. It's shortened. Maybe if I open it wider. I don't know who digital is, but they donated. Thank you, Double Delta Zero. Thank you, Waldemar, for the ice cream, and Gyro for the other lemon. Of course, Gyro's... Oh, wait a minute. You guys forgot to remind me about the chest. There's 90 here. Let's see who can get some... We've got a diamond in there and about 10 ice creams for you. So I'm going to open the chest now. For those of you who hung out with me till fucking 2 in the morning, which is amazing, by the way. We're going to distribute rewards. So the chest is now available for opening. Who is going to get the lion's share of the whole $1.70-ish that's in the chest? Who's getting all of that dough? Not a lot of dough, but a lot. Enough dough. Enough dough that you can Tutti Fucking Fruity me like 15 times. But don't Tutti Fruity me if you win. Tutti Fruity other streamers. We want to grow this platform. Dig into everything. Congratulations, Waldemar. Triple X Rider. You also are walking out of here with your share of the chest. Look at that. You all just got paid for listening to me yak for fucking... How many hours did we go? It was a while. 4.5 hours. Jesus. How do I do it? How do I not... how do I do this? I don't know. 4.5 hours. This is the longest content I've ever made on here on DLive. I just got to say. On my way to $5. Woo. So I'm going to buy a steak. Well, yeah. And make sure you put lots of butter on it and shit. Actually, you can buy a lot more butter You know, you can buy a smaller steak and buy a lot of butter, and it's just as satisfying. Just saying. So that's it for this stream. We started out trying to have fun, and we ended up working and getting serious. But I am very happy to have introduced somebody to keto who wasn't looking for it. That is a big thing for me. I like that. I want to do that more. And I hope that somebody else that may be lurking also got introduced, because we gave out a lot of good information, which is one of the reasons why I'm going to try and put this video on YouTube at some point. I have to capture it, though, and shit. Have a nice motherfucking night, and thanks, everybody, for everything you've done. And good luck, Dig. I really am rooting for you. So, good night. And shit.
And I'm sorry that I didn't take the time to, you know, brush my 3 hairs. Or I haven't even had my fucking coffee yet. I need to get the fuck out of this room, too, at some point. Yeah. As for the Keto Fest stream that I plan on doing, I might have to move that to Sunday. I'm really fucking burnt out from producing so much content this week, so it's gonna be this weekend will be that stream, and any videos that come out of that end up here on YouTube, well, they'll just fucking be there. So please like and subscribe for more shit. Remember, I'm not a fucking expert, I'm just an asshole, and have a nice motherfucking day. Yeah. I'm gonna go back to being boring and making shitty videos that'll never go anywhere on YouTube now. Thanks.